Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate everyone for coming to my video. In today's video, we're going to be really diving into Season 13 and what we know so far. So it's really going to be a Season 13 preview. If you like today's video, please be sure to drop a like. And if you really like what I do, then subscribe to the channel as well, as we'll be posting a lot more Apex content here. And we post shorts almost every single day as well. Now, before we jump into it, Season 13, its title is Saviors. The new legend is Newcastle. Storm Point got a makeover, so we're going to go over those changes as well. Some of the different weapon changes that we know of so far, and what's happening to Ranked and Ranked Reloaded. Now, we're going to start this video off by talking about the new legend Newcastle. And we're going to judge Newcastle based off of three things: his kit, the impact he'll have on the game, and of course his looks. Now, I think that the look of Newcastle is actually really cool. I think he's one of the cooler legends that we've had added to the game, just in terms of his design. I think, you know, having another fortified legend, a bigger legend, I think that's a really good addition to the game itself. Now let's talk about his kit. His kit is incredibly strong. His passive allows him to res with a knockdown shield and move at the same time, which is incredibly strong. We saw knockdown shield before with Lifeline's kit, and they actually took it away because it was too strong. Now we're seeing it added back to the game with Newcastle, so we'll have to see if that stays or if they make any changes to that, or if it has some type of HP bar that the enemy team can break down. His tactical allows him to throw a barrier or shield, which can block off potential third parties or flanks, and just keeps your team in the game longer by giving them some additional cover. Now, his ultimate is a giant barrier that he slams down. Now, I do believe that teams that are close in front of that barrier as you're throwing it down will be damaged. We'll have to see how much. I don't think it'll be very much, but I do think it will do some damage, or at least just push them away. So his kit overall, very, very strong, very defensive, which I do think is something that the game needed and something that they needed to add. So I really do like his kit in addition to the game of Apex. And now we'll move on to overall impact of Newcastle and what I think he'll have on the game. I think he'll have a tremendous impact. As we know, Apex is a game of third parties. So oftentimes, and this is something almost every single player, you know, talks about, complains about, is that we're just constantly in these situations with legends that are able to rotate freely and really open up third parties as a whole and really disrupt the way the natural game is supposed to be played out. Now, I don't think that Newcastle will completely stop third parties. That's definitely not what I'm saying at all. I think third parties will still be a thing, as third partying in battle royales that's just the nature of the beast sometimes. However, I do think it'll slow them down and allow teams to really get a full reset before taking on that next fight. His tactical specifically being able to block off a certain direction and just more easily anticipate where a team is coming from, but also his passive being able to res with a shield to be able to get that reset of a potential fallen teammate. And then his ultimate, of course, really being able to either push people away or even just being able to have, you know, set up some type of cover for your team where you may not have had cover where somebody went down. So I think that'll be really big for the game. And something that obviously we'll have to see how it plays out moving along with Season 13. Now, one thing I'll say is that Respawn has done a really good job as of late of releasing balanced legends. So we haven't really seen a broken legend. Obviously, Seer was pretty broken, but they did nerf him pretty quickly. And even before that and after that, every legend that has come out has been pretty balanced. And I do think Newcastle has a few weaknesses, one of them simply being grenades, right? So someone like a Fuse or just being able to know how to throw grenades well can really get past those barriers and still hurt a team on the other side. Along with the obvious ultimates like a Gibby ultimate or a Bangalore ultimate, those things can still get past his barriers and still hurt the team. So we'll have to see what combination of characters people run with Newcastle to be effective. But I do think overall Newcastle will have a positive impact on the game, and he'll be a great legend for not just new players but experienced players to be able to use and have fun with as well. So overall, I think Newcastle is a big W. I'm excited to see how it plays out. Now, moving on, we'll talk about Stormpoint and the changes happening to Stormpoint. Overall, I think all of these changes are a big W. I think Season 13 is going to be a really exciting season for not just new players, but for players that have played for a long time. We're seeing a new POI being added, Downed Beast. We saw the Beast obviously in the trailer. So now that's a whole POI being added to the map, and it's going to be between Mill and North Pad, which is really big because there was really nothing there, and Stormpoint really needed an additional POI. I still think it needs a few more changes. However, I do think this is a really good start to the changes coming to Stormpoint. One of the other changes are the addition of the armories. Now, the armories are really interesting because when you go in them with your team, the doors lock behind you, so you can't get third-partied. Once you defeat the robots, you have smart loot, which is like Lifeline's care package, how it drops attachments and whatnot that are equivalent to what the player currently is using, which I think that's very, very big. And you can redeploy out of them. So you don't have to worry about opening a door, someone waiting and ratting on the door for you to be able to get out safely. You can actually hit a mini redeploy and get out of that situation really easily. Now, we are going to Stormpoint for the first split of Season 13 for Ranked, which I absolutely love. I think Stormpoint's the best ranked map. I do love World's Edge, but I do think Stormpoint is a better ranked map for us. Honestly, I'm just really glad to get off Kings Canyon, and we all know Kings Canyon and Olympus were kind of a nightmare. Things were crazy, third parties were wild, so I'm glad that we are moving away from those maps. Likely going to World's Edge for the second split. It hasn't officially been announced, but that is, the talk of the town, as they say. Now, moving on, we're going to talk about the different weapon changes that we're going to be seeing in Season 13. Now, we don't know the buffs or nerfs of certain guns yet, but we do know the Spitfire is likely coming back to ground loot. It hasn't been officially confirmed, but it's the weapon skin of Season 13, so we'll likely have it as ground loot in the new season, which means that a weapon does have to go in. If I had to guess, it's either going to be the Wingman or it's going to be the Devotion. Now, we all remember the Devotion in the care package was a terrifying weapon. So we'll have to see how that plays out, if that is, or if the Wingman does go in. I think that's a really good option as well, as the Wingman has become the weapon of choice of a lot of people. So putting it in the care package just means that it's not guaranteed every single game. It's likely there will be one every single game, but it's not guaranteed. And it forces people to learn different guns as well. Now, talking about the change that everyone's a little bit nervous, doesn't really know how to feel about, they either love it or they hate it, and that is the 301 is going into the Replicator. Now, I actually thought the 301 was going to go into the care package, so I am kind of glad to see it just go into the Replicator, because this means that anybody can get a 301 in any game. You just have to, obviously get to a Replicator, have the acquire points, which I think it's going to be 30 Replicator points to be able to craft, and now you have a 301. So I do think that it'll still be used quite a bit, but it won't be used as often, as we saw this with the Flatline. The Flatline was a popular gun, and then it went into the Replicator, and people kind of, stopped using it. You don't see it as much in today's game. But, I do think with the 301, because it is such a reliable weapon, and a lot of people really like the 301, that we will still continue to see a lot of 301s being used. So with the 301 and Rampage going into the Replicator, I doubt we'll see a lot of Rampages. I think it'll be more like the Flatline, where we don't see it very much. But the Flatline will now become the assault rifle of choice for teams moving forward. But I think Season 13 will be very sniper focused and very sniper heavy. So we'll see a lot of teams utilizing the longbow that comes back to the ground, as it is a very, very good sniper. But we'll also see the Sentinel being used quite a bit. And of course, the charge rifle. Now, I hate the charge rifle. I wish it wasn't in the game, but it is, so we are going to have to live with that and have to continue to deal with it. But Season 13, with the map being on Stormpoint and its nature being longer range engagements generally, we'll definitely see an increase in the use of sniper rifles. Moving on from weapon changes, we're going to talk about the new ranked system. So it's called Ranked Reloaded, and it's described that you can rise and fall through the ranks, which hopefully means we can now get some demotions from like a Diamond 4 into Plat 1, or from Masters into Diamond. So I think that is actually a really good change. It changes the way that people play, because now when you're in Diamond 4 or you're in Masters, you can go backwards. So I think that it, again, changes the way that people play. There's not going to be as much inting as we see a lot of these, big Apex streamers really talk about. So I think that is a very good change to the game. If that is the change, they haven't really come out with any details on that, but I think that will be the change and will be really good. Next thing we want to talk about is just the battle pass. The skins look really good. I think that Spitfire skin looks great. I think the Mad Maggie skin and the Newcastle skin look great. You know, the Fuse skin is okay, but I think the Mad Maggie skin, I mean, it's literally fire, which is great. I think that's really cool. And I just think the cosmetics so far from what we've seen look great. So I think that's a good incentive to buy the battle pass, as like, Season 12's battle pass I thought was, lackluster. This battle pass, I think, so far looks pretty good. And it is known that Control is going to be coming back for the second half of Season 13. I know a lot of people really like Control. I really like Control. A lot of people wanted it to be a permanent mode. I also did. I'm not a big fan of arenas, so I really like Control to hop in there for a game or two, warm up, rather than go into an arenas map or even go into the firing range. So overall, for Season 13 Saviors, we have a new legend in Newcastle who I think will be a great addition. Storm Point gets a lot of changes, which I think will be very, very good for the game itself. We have some weapon changes. The 301 and the Rampage into the Replicator, Longbow, and Flatline come back out. The Spitfire is likely going to be on the ground as well, so we'll have to see what replaces that. We have ranked changes, hopefully involving demotion, which I absolutely love. Battle Pass, looking clean so far. And Control will be coming back for the second half of Season 13. Overall, I think that Season 13 will be a massive W. I thought Season 12 was good, but could have been a lot better. So I think Season 13, I think the changes that we're getting, I think Newcastle being the new legend. Honestly, I think overall, I'm calling this one a W. I'm calling it early. I think it's going to be, one of the best seasons of Apex that we've had recently. So tell me what you guys think down in the comments section down below. If you think that Season 13 is going to be good or if it's going to be bad. I'd love to hear your thoughts down there in the comment section. And I also want to know what goals you may have for Season 13. Do you have a certain rank you want to get to? Do you have a kill count that you want to get to? Do you have a certain number of wins that you want to get to, or maybe a win percentage as well? Love to hear your thoughts and your goals down there in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video of Season 13 Preview. And until next time, deuces, guys.